When we spring forward, but this time it's arriving 3 weeks earlier. Most of us will set our clocks forward next weekend, and that has some people worried. But are their fears warranted? Or is this just another needless scare similar to the Y2K hysteria heading into the year 2000? For some answers, I'm joined in the studio by technology analyst Ken Chase. So, Ken, tell us a little bit about how people's lives will be affected by moving up that spring forward.
Well, it'll obviously change the time that daylight first appears in the morning. It'll be later, but we'll have daylight earlier or later into the evening when we leave work.
And what was the motive? Just take us back to what the motivation was for changing this.
Well, it's a bill that was put into Congress in the United States by I think it's Markey. He was involved in daylight changes back in 1986, and he's moved it forward another 3 weeks now. The idea is to save energy. In that people will not be turning on their lights as early at night when they get home.
And so I guess one of the key concerns that a lot of people have is computers. You know, how is this going to affect technology?
Right. Well, a lot of old devices which have daylight savings time programmed into them, probably, a lot of cars and certainly a lot of old VCRs that use videotapes, they are all implemented, manufactured after 1986, so they know that it's whenever late in April instead of earlier in March. They'll be wrong for three weeks or whatever the time is. So if you have a VCR, you'll have to change that. Same with computers.
So computer and VCR. So those are. What about say hospitals or something like that? Are there areas where the technology actually needs to be on time? I mean, a VCR is not the end of the world. Computers may not be the end of the world. You can still send emails.
Well, for people's desktops, it might not really be the end of the world. I mean, judging by how many emails I get that have the wrong date and time on it anyway, that doesn't seem to be certainly the end of the world, but it could be depending on when a transaction is done, say with stocks or something like that, or especially in dedicated equipment like you mentioned in hospitals. Those pieces of equipment would have to be upgraded by the manufacturer. For desktops, people can upgrade it like through Microsoft's website. They have a patch to make sure that your system is updated.
So how can people prepare for this?
Well, visit the Microsoft website, apply your updates to your personal computer. As for updates for more important dedicated systems like those that control our power and water, well, we just hope that our officials are doing a good job.
So we'll just cross our fingers.
Well, it may be like Y2K, hopefully. I think they did a very good job in putting hundreds of millions of dollars worth of effort into Y2K and nothing happened. Well, hopefully it'll be the same way. But I think people might be a little bit more lax this time because nothing happened last time, so why put effort into it this time? But the effort was behind the scenes and the result was no effect. So it's difficult to say how much effort has been put into changing this. And hopefully anything that does happen will be just temporary and won't be a reason for any concern.
Ken Chase, good to talk to you. Thanks very much.
You too.
And still ahead on your weekend edition of CBC News.